Hello, it's the Business Roundup, a 360 degrees business show that keeps you informed and updated on the trending business stories from within Uganda and across its borders. I'm your host, Joram Paul Sonko, and without further ado, check out the highlights. Marchon Falls Park Route records increased accidents. Truckers request for a temporary rest area. Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo 2024 is oversubscribed. Tourism stakeholders eager to tap into the Powate opportunities. Danish Climate Ambassador Anka Christensen wants the youth voice to be heard in the just transition discussions. On the regional scene, Kenya and Uganda commit to work closely at the bilateral and multilateral levels. This is just a sneak peek. Keep it locked on UBC. Accidents have become more rampant in Marchon Falls National Park route that was recently opened for commercial trucks and buses. The accidents are attributed to the terrain and drivers' unfamiliarity. Isaac Katabazi, the Vice Chairperson, Truck Drivers Association of Uganda, spoke to BRU. Check this out.
Since the announcement of the diversion of heavy trucks and buses to pave way for the rehabilitation works of the Karuma Bridge, an upsurge of road accidents involving trucks have been registered in the Marchon Falls National Park route, says Isaac Katabazi, the Vice Chairperson, Truck Drivers Association of Uganda.
Country. For those who are going to Alua, it becomes short, but for those who are going to South Sudan, it becomes more than now. Something you need to add something like 100 or 150 liters more compared to the one you are using. The challenge now is the fuel price is high, and also our bosses, some of them don't even understand that they need to ask us more fuel. However, another challenge would say that Masindi Pakwachi road is very narrow compared to the other Guru highway, and this is why now we are experiencing a lot of accidents in there.
The rampant road accidents are attributed to the narrowness of the road, the terrain and unfamiliarity of the new route by many drivers.
We are advised to go 40 kilometers per hour, which of course is a very good speed, but because it's a new road and there are many turns and slopes which are not navigatable to our trucks now. Yeah? Because when a truck starts to go down deep, almost 30 kilometers when it's loaded, and it's a new route for a driver, it's the reason why we're experiencing now accidents.
Most animals tend to hide during the day.
In the recent interview with UBC, Bashir Hanji, the Uganda Wildlife Authority's Public Relationship Officer, cautioned motorists against overspeeding and recklessness in the park.
For those who know, or those who may not be knowing, we have speed cameras in Marchon Falls National Park. So they're able to tell us the speed at which you are driving.
His appeal is re-emphasized by the Truckers Association, who also request for UA to put up a temporary rest area on the route.
From Masindi to Pakwachi, that's 120 kilometers. That's a long distance for a person not to check on the track where there is those slopes, body slopes and body corners. At least for us, we are used that after 50 kilometers, I'm supposed to stop, check my truck to see if at all the brakes are still okay or not okay. So I'm going to request
UBC Business.
To matters climate change, Denmark and Uganda are committed to strengthening their relationship in regards to climate change mitigation, says Thomas Anka Christensen, the Danish Climate Ambassador. In an interview with Maureen Babidie, Ambassador Anka emphasized the importance of youth voice in climate change discussions.
The Danish ambassador of youthful climate change activists. In an exclusive interview with UBC, Ambassador Anka underlined the relevance of the youth's participation in climate change discussions.
We don't act now, they will suffer the consequences in the future. And to understand their priorities, their hopes and wishes, and to get their ideas of what we should be doing now is extremely important. the youth movement has helped put pressure on governments to act more aggressively and faster.
Actually, this climate agenda is an agenda that, of course, we know this from Denmark as well, but this is an agenda where youth have a lot of opinions and a lot of drive. So we gathered a larger group of young climate activists today to get their input into, what are the key issues in Uganda, what should we focus in Copenhagen, in New York, and all over the world. But some of it will also input the thinking at the Danish embassy, what are the interventions that we should be looking at if we want to support Ugandan youth in climate, what are the interventions that we are doing that are not exactly finding the right angle into what needs to be done.
Over the years, the impact of climate change has become more evident globally. For the African continent, this is very significant because it is predicted that in the coming year to discuss economic, social and environmental issues in climate negotiations, and it is often difficult to come up with a conclusive decision of common interest if planning in advance is not done.
There are many agenda points where we have very common interests and actually want the same things as small European countries and African countries. And these are the things where if we can find our ways together and try to unite around some of the agendas, we can really become the majority, which I think is that's where the balance is tipping. So I do have hope.
Away from that, COMESA Competition Commission, in collaboration with the Fidelis Leadership Institute, launched a comprehensive training program focused on competition law and consumer protection. It aims at enhancing the capacity of authorities in Uganda and across the region to effectively implement and enforce competition regulations.
Fidelis Leadership Institute is the first organization in the region to be accredited by the COMESA Competition Commission to train on competition law and consumer protection. Fiona Wall, the Chief Executive Officer of Fidelis Leadership Institute, emphasizes the partnership's dedication to excellence, integrity, and the pursuit of justice through ethical practices.
And we all know that without proper competition regulation, trade, all these dreams we have of regionalization, the SCFTA, the common market protocols, they will remain a dream. We all know that in this dynamic landscape, it has been marked by rapid technological advancements, evolving market dynamics.
The Competition Acts and upcoming regulations in various African countries serve as crucial instruments in maintaining fairness, safeguarding the consumer interest, and preventing monopolies. Since 2011, the COMESA Competition Commission has been trying to build capacity across its 21 member states.
Competition regulation is about the conduct of that company in the market. Whether it's a monopoly or a dominant firm, it is the conduct. Now, what does the conduct mean? It's two-way. The conduct could affect consumers or the conduct could affect suppliers. Okay. A dominant firm begins to abuse the law when they conduct themselves in a manner that, number one, forecloses the market so that others do not get in, ideally reducing the opportunities for entry into that market sector, or in a manner that affects consumers either in price escalation, and this usually will happen when a company that is dominant buys out smaller firms. Sometimes they start by dropping prices so low that the smaller firms can't compete and they get out of the market. When they have gotten out of the market, then the dominant firm starts to increase prices because there is no more competition that can deal with that kind of conduct.
This act is about leveling the ground for businesses to compete fairly. But competition is about companies which are equal in power. And when you look at the way our government liberalized, it's the giants which came in, and there has been very little protection for the MSMEs. So there has to be some unleveling so that our companies, our Ugandan companies, can have a leg up.
Competition law, also known as the antitrust law, plays a crucial role in promoting and maintaining a competitive market economy. It is an instrument of business that can work in a free economy like Uganda's, argues Sam Watasa from the Uganda Consumers Protection Association.
Free means that free entry, free exit of business. When we say free economy, we don't mean that it's an economy where you go and do everything the way you want. A free economy is an economy which guarantees enterprise entry into business sectors and enterprise exit. But the enterprise stay, sustainability in that sector should be the competition regulator's interest. Because if you have a dominant player that is foreclosing entry, then there won't be free market. If you have a dominant player that is constraining, well, exit. Now, someone will say exit is okay. But you see, exit means that a firm has become non-competitive, okay?
Through the comprehensive education and training initiatives, COMESA Competition Commission and Fidelis Leadership Institute aim to encourage fair competition, prevent monopolies, and create a level playing field for businesses. Dennis Igoa for the Business Roundup.
Moving on, the Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has criticized the bureaucratic tendencies by government entities, blaming them for obstructing investment. Kano Tom Butime raised the concern on his tour of the Conservation through Commercialization Center in Butambala district. We have the details.
During the visit, accompanied by officials from the Ministry and Uganda Wildlife Authority, Kano Butime acknowledged the importance of developing a memorandum of understanding between Ministry and the Conservation Facility and UWA to align their interests.
So that at any given time, each one knows what to do and how quickly to do it. The problem we have is that private sector always wants to move very fast, isn't it? And any government institution will always try to be bureaucratic.
Addressing previous concerns raised by the Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Kano Butime emphasized the significance of the facility in enhancing Uganda's tourism sector.
Here is another facility. Besides going to Jinja for rafting, Kidepo, Marchon Falls, isn't it? Queen Elizabeth, Kibale, there is another facility here in Impigi, isn't it? Not far from Kampala. So please, Ugandans, while you can go to these other national parks of Uganda, there is another near one here, isn't it? And I encourage domestic tourists to come here and enjoy themselves at this facility.
He reassured Thomas Price, the director of CTC, that issues regarding operations and alleged sabotage by Wildlife Authority have been addressed, fostering optimism among investors.
So I think the meeting went very well. We're very honored that the minister came himself, so that was very, very nice, and we really appreciate that. And we hope that as a team together now with the ministry and UWA, we can really make this facility something which will move the tourism industry. My biggest concern is that we will not find a mutual understanding and that we end at loggerheads as we've been for a long time. So I'm very happy that we did find a mutual understanding and that it was agreed that the minister also guided that people should work together and make this happen.
Since its partial opening to the public in 2022, CTC has received positive feedback from visitors of all ages and nationalities, underscoring its role in the wildlife conservation and education.
I learned about this place through the Chinese social media and I was amazed. So when I come to Uganda, I decided this is a must destination.
The most exciting one was the lemur because I liked feeding them because they are not harmful, and I liked holding them and also carrying them here. And also the most frightening one was the baby crocodile. My best part was when I was carrying the crocodile which was young, and my worst part was the lemurs, and I was a little bit scared.
Butime's engagement with the facility reflects a commitment to promoting sustainable tourism and preserving Uganda's rich biodiversity. In a symbolic gesture, Minister Butime named 2 cubs, one after himself, while the other was named Beatrice, as tribute to his wife. Maureen Babidie, reporting for the Business Roundup.
Well, now moving on, Uganda's tourism sector players are buoyant and well prepared to make the most out of the 8th edition of the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. The event is slated for the 23rd to the 25th of this month.
The annual Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is around the corner, and plans are in high gear to make it a memorable event for Uganda and the visitors. According to the Uganda Tourism Board, Boate 2024, slated for the 23rd to the 25th of this month, has been oversubscribed.
Destination Uganda truly stands out a gem in the heart of Africa and the globe. Uganda is the unique destination on the continent, with the depth, the range, and the variety that the continent has. And that's why we are known as the Pearl of Africa. Boate, as already mentioned, is an annual event, and this is our 8th edition. And we are even more excited. I think Claire was just being very modest. We are oversubscribed for Boate 2024.
The event of the theme Responsible Tourism seeks to position Uganda as the preferred tourism destination domestically and globally. Uganda Breweries, a private sector player and a platinum sponsor of Boate 2024, has handed over 100 million shillings to the National Organizing Committee of the event.
We at Uganda Breweries are delighted to partner with the government of Uganda